Welcome back to Good Karma Wrestling, along with Brian Rhodes from ESPN West Palm. I'm Jonathan Hood from ESPN Chicago. We're so glad you're with us. And we have a very special guest, Brian, that's on the line with us.
Oh, very, very special. It's the man, Jay Hood.
What's up, lads?
It is Becky Lynch with us for the first time ever on Good Karma Wrestling. Becky, it's Jonathan and Brian. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about the new book that you have out. We saw it on Raw. Do you have a copy? Can you flash us a little bit?
I got one here.
I do have a copy right here. Right here. Here it is. Couldn't find a good way to put it in the shot.
There you go.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is in its hardback form. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of the work that I put into it. Probably the piece of work that I've done that I'm most proud of.
Okay. If someone told young Rebecca Quinn, young Becky Lynch, like, hey, one day you'll have a life worth writing a book about, what would your reaction have been back then?
Damn straight I will. Damn straight I will.
Okay.
My dad was always big on me writing. Like, he had me writing since I was like a little thing. He was like, you have to write everything down. And like at the time I was 5. I didn't have anything to write about. I was like, sweets cost 5p. You know, like whatever it was. And so I kind of kept that up throughout my entire life. I've always journaled. I love it. I look at a journal as a very cheap therapist. And then when it came to doing it, I realized that writing journals and writing books are two very different things, and also writing promos are very different. So I was good in my journalistic form, and in my journal, like is in my journal, not being a journalist, but my journaling form. And then I think I'm pretty good at writing promos, but I'd never written a book. So then I did a year-long book course, like a book writing course. And that taught me a lot about storytelling and everything like that, and in terms of the long form. And here it is. Here it is, about to be out in the world.
Becky, give us a sneak preview. Will we know the difference between Becky Lynch and Rebecca Quinn in this book?
You will. Like, I'm very honest. I'm very honest in terms of Rebecca Quinn's struggles and the doubts that have plagued me. And there's this weird thing in my life where I have this self-belief and then this self-doubt in almost equal measures, and they're constantly competing with each other. But I think that's what drives me forward. And so I talk about all of those things in the book. And really, in a way, it's kind of a coming of age story. You know, it's coming of age. It's growing up with this love of a thing that's not traditional. Being an Irish girl, trying to figure out how to become the man, really, and we get there eventually.
Speaking of the man and Becky Lynch, we've talked on this show. We think Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley might be the star of WrestleMania 40. We think you guys should be main eventing. What is that pressure like on you to go out there and steal the show when you step in the ring at WrestleMania?
What pressure? I'm the man.
Okay.
What pressure? No, really, I love it. And what I'm loving about this is that there are a lot of people doubting me right now. There's a lot of people doubting, Rhea's on this run, Rhea's gonna take it. We're forgetting who's doing all the groundwork. We're forgetting who's been doing all the groundwork, who's been hiding in plain sight, elevating everybody to the top of their game, delivering, to quote another Irish man, banger after banger after banger after banger, and keeping everything afloat. You know, like, Rhea's been hovering around doing little backstages. I've been putting in the hard work, week in, week out, grinding, grafting. And I'm at the top of my game now. But I love it when people doubt me, because I said it in a promo. When people believe in me, I'm good. But when people doubt me, I am great. And that is true. And you can read all about it in my book. The Man, Not Your Average Girl.
Yes, hold that book up, Brian. Hold that book up for everybody. So that
you don't need to look at me. There we go.
There we go. That's right. Hold that book up. You never look better, Brian.
That's right.
You never look better. Available now wherever you get your books. Becky, tell us something that we don't know about the road as far as you. Sometimes Seth is not with you. You're not with your child. And even though you have teammates in the locker room, even though you have fans that adore you, how alone can you be being able to be the person out there on the road in the ring by yourself? How lonely
not.
can you be?
I don't really get much alone time these days, you know. So there's several times where we don't travel with our daughter, but for the most part we do, and we're with her every week. So when I go out there, as soon as I come back, I'm mom. I'm back to being. I go from being the man to being the mom, and I'm running around on a bus playing hide and go seek, you know. And so I think that's probably the part that people don't see about me, you know. It's not necessarily about the alone time. It's about the times when I come off stage and I go from being a badass to just being a big old softie. To be, well, actually just being like, she's a little bit of a dictator, this child. Like she's, you know, she runs a tight ship.
She get that for you or her father?
I think a little bit of both, and she's stubborn, you know. So everybody's got to be on board, and she's a little director, you know. So she's giving you things that you have to do, and then she gives you line reads. No, don't say it like that. Say it like this. And she loves like wrestling now. She loves wrestling. So I was trying to teach her a lockup the other day. She's 3, and she was like, no, not that. Like how Dada does it. So Dada always takes DDTs from her. So she's like, and you gotta hit me like, I gotta hit you like this, and then grab your neck. So she knows how to do a mean DDT and a mean leg drop.
All right. Okay, genetics are amazing.
Yeah. So your daughter's Michael Hayes. Is that what's happening? Does your daughter have a fanny pack?
Oh, we should get her one. She does have the outlandish dress sense of Michael Hayes, yeah. And they have their own little handshake, her and Michael Hayes.
Yes. Napes.
He gives her the napes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot
gives it right back.
The women's revolution, you were one of the focal points of it, the 4 horsewomen. You guys are now all over the place in other companies, and we see so much of women's wrestling up and coming. What's the pride factor like when you see these new faces, you know, Tiffany Stratton in your own company? What's that pride factor like?
Look, it's a thing where see, we talk about women's wrestling, but it's just wrestling, you know. It's wrestling. It's just wrestling, and it's to the point now, and we're getting to the point, and I mean we've been at the point, I think, where it's just standard fare, where we should main event. If the stuff is the best story, we've got the best match, should be the main event. Easy, done. Of course. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we be top 6? So we just need we need the people and the talent and the hunger and the drive to continue that. And I like it because we're at this stage where we're talking about the micro. No, we're not talking about the macro. We're not talking about the big things that need to change. We're talking about the little things that need to be changed. In terms of the grand scheme of things, you know, like we just need to be looking at it as equal. Who are our stars? What are our stories? What are the stories that we want to tell? And it's not to the point where we're saying like, oh, women's matches should get cut, you know, if this time is over and there's one token women's match on a WrestleMania. There could be more. And there could be more stories. So we need to continue to talk about that. But like the women can't be the main event. The women aren't the draws. The women aren't the stars. Like all those things are gone out the window. We are the stars. We are the conversations. And it just needs to continue. Like you've got Rhea Ripley, who is a star. You've got Bianca Belair, who's a star. You have all these people that are coming up. You've got Lyra in NXT, who is a phenomenal talent, fantastic talent with a drive and a work ethic. We just need people putting in those hours, wanting wanting to be the top dog in the business. And that's all it takes, just wanting to drive it forward.
The book, hold it up, Ryan. Wherever books are sold, right there, the man, right there.
There it is.
Wherever books are sold. You've done
Mick Foley said it's one of his favorite memoirs, and he knows a thing or two about writing books.
He knows a thing or two. He knows a
Yeah.
thing or two. He was very helpful in this. I love him.
Becky, you've done so much in the business. Now you have written a book. What is the period at the end of your sentence? What is it that you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet in wrestling?
In wrestling, nothing. So I say that and people are like, oh God, but it's a great thing, man, because now it's not about titles. It's not about winning a certain match. I would like to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, I like the power that holds over a champion, you know, it just puts them on edge. But that's just but what I'm saying is that I'm more interested in the stories and going back to the basics. Why did I start this? Because I love it. And so that's all it comes down to. It's the love of it. And now you're not thinking about what can I get out of it. You're just thinking, what can I put into it? And that is a beautiful space to be. That is my favorite space that I've been in. How can I give back to this as opposed to what's in it for me? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, for you personally, bigger moment, sharing a beer with Stone Cold or becoming a U.S. citizen?
Sharing a beer with someone. It's pretty on par, right? You know, it's pretty on par. I didn't have to take a test to drink a beer with Stone Cold Steve Austin, though, so that was good.
It's only because we assumed that you're already a U.S. citizen. That's why. That was for Michael Cole. We already thought you were a U.S. citizen. That came out of nowhere.
It was a pretty cool moment, though. Pretty cool, especially going to the White House and then the next day taking my citizenship test. So that was cool. Felt very good karmically.
Becky, you were in some places the White House you weren't supposed to. That book That book was on a bookshelf in the White House. How did that happen?
Still is.
Oh.
Unless the Secret Service has moved it by now. How did that happen? I just wandered in. I brought a couple of copies of my book in case anybody wanted one. So put it on the library there. Said, here you go. Here you go, President, future presidents. Have a little read. Figure out what it takes to be the man.
There you go.
All right.
Well, as always, Becky, we appreciate your time. We want to make sure that everyone knows about your book. There you go, Brian, right there. Brian on the spot with the man. Available now wherever books are sold. We appreciate your time on Good Karma Wrestling.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.